welcome to another episode of Warring to Attitude. This is episode 24. I am your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, I have got the man who is from the across the ocean and from the future. He is the barroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's moreover than winning a soccer game, even when you only got 10 men. It's J. Russell Nut, Glenn Abbott. Glenn, how you doing?
Thank you. You know, last week I said, could you send me some of your heat? Well, you obviously have, because it's nowhere near anything like what I'm sure you're getting at the moment, with what I've seen of the temperatures over there. But we're up in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was up in the 80s. Currently, right now, Glenn, it is 98 degrees with a heat index of 111. So that's how hot it is outside. It is doing a number on my asthmatic lungs, I can tell you that much.
I bet it is. At least you're sitting in your basement at the moment, which is a good thing.
Yes, it is nice and cool in the basement. Absolutely. Glenn, you had some disappointment, but then some non-disappointment yesterday in regard to the football, didn't you?
Yeah. It was more disappointing the way the women played than the result. They were just totally outplayed by Spain.
I would say there was only maybe about a 25-minute period where they played well, and that was really it.
Yeah. It's a shame they didn't show up for a final. But there you go. But then again, on the other foot, the Arsenal won last night, which is
They did, and they got a bull crap double. Oh, no, I guess they were both bull crap yellow cards because I didn't think the second one should have been a yellow either.
no, that was never a foul. It certainly shouldn't have been a yellow. And the first one, it wasn't. They broke it down on Sky.
Right.
There were three guys, like 20 odd seconds to get the ball back in play, which the referees are legitimately there to say that's time wasting because it shouldn't take that long.
Right.
But there wasn't one of those players that touched the ball for more than 5 seconds, including the one that got booked.
Right. So, I mean, at that point, it's not on me. What am I supposed to do?
Exactly. Yeah. I've been thrown the ball and I get booked.
Right. Yeah. They're getting a little overboard with the cards. I mean, I think there was 2 or 3 guys sent off on Saturday games too for two yellow cards.
There were three. Yeah. There were 3 games at 3:00 over here on Saturday, and 3 sending offs.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
And then Chelsea loses 3-1 to West Ham, and West Ham was down 10 men. Which watching Chelsea fans lose their shit is so funny.
Yeah, especially to 10 men.
Yeah, I mean, you spent all that money and you lost 3-1 to West Ham down a man.
That was what's frustrating me about Arsenal last night. Yes, they won, but West Ham against Chelsea, they didn't play like they were down to 10 men. They went at Chelsea. Why couldn't Arsenal have done the same thing rather than have us sitting there with looking at the TV through our through our hands?
That's something that I like. I've only been an Arsenal fan for not even a full season yet. This will be my first season as a full-fledged Arsenal supporter. But they always seem to play really well. And then at the end of the game, I find myself about to have a heart attack because they're just trying to chase it, hold on for dear life to a victory. It reminds me a lot of when the United States plays in the World Cup. Like, they like to get up early and then cling to a lead like their life depends upon it, just to make me crazy. And I get that kind of same vibe from Arsenal.
Yeah. Jesus. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm watching. I got last night's Raw on. There's Maxine Dupree kneeling in an outfit there.
Well, I mean, Maxine Dupree can make a lot of guys forget about what they're doing, Glenn. So we cannot blame you for that one. Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I got to think that's enough of the football talk. I did feel like Spain was the best team the entire Women's Cup tournament. So I did feel like they were the right team to win. So much respect to them. Yeah, definitely. So Glenn, are you ready to talk some 1997 Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, why not?
Why don't we? Glenn texted me after he watched this and said, "This is 2 hours of my life I'll never get back." And then I messaged Glenn back, "Well, it is a go-home show, so it had to suck, right?"
Yep. But as you said, it was probably the best go-home show we've seen so far because they actually at the end, at least, they did further some stories into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, which they hadn't done that in any of the go-home shows that we saw before. And like just to refresh people's memory, we did a go-home show to the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and they both told no stories leading into the pay-per-views. So
They both suck like vacuum cleaners, both of those episodes.
they really did, yeah. So this one is May 5th, 1997. It is at the Brown County Expo in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Glenn, you know I'm a big Chicago Bears fan, and our main rival is the Green Bay Packers. So it really made me sick to my stomach to see all these fucking people with Green Bay Packers jerseys on and shirts in the crowd. It really hurt my eyes. My eyes were burning.
Doesn't set it off right, does it, to start with?
No, it sets it off with a bad mood. So, actually, some interesting notes from this arena here. It opened in 1958. It held many house shows and such in the late 80s and early 90s. The arena closed down in 2019, and the last concert was done by Brent Michaels, the former frontman of the rock band Poison. You familiar with Poison?
Yeah, boys, yeah.
So the group's video for Every Rose Has Its Thorn was actually shot at this very arena. And so the band would start every single one of their tours. They would start at this arena in Wisconsin because they shot their first video there. So I thought that was really cool because I wouldn't have expected that.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's a nice kickback to where they started.
Yeah, and so when they decided they were going to shut this arena down, they decided that they needed to have Brent Michaels back to have one final show there, and that was the last show at the arena that shut the arena down was a Brent Michaels concert. So I thought that was a really cool note to an arena that you wouldn't expect that from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, Glenn, I when I was looking this up, I saw that they ran some shows for it's called the XWF. It was called the Excitement Wrestling Federation, and excitement is spelled with an X and not with an X, not with an E. You ever heard of this?
I never heard of that. I thought I knew most of but I never heard of that one.
So this actually, Jimmy Hart was the president of this wrestling company that ran from November 2001 until the fall of 2002. So it only really ran for a year. They did have a lot of guys. They had Tony Schiavone and Jerry the King Lawler who did commentary. Mean Gene was a backstage interviewer. Sable Rena Mero was the quote unquote CEO of the company, and Roddy Piper was the babyface commissioner. So they had some fucking star power here. They even had Hulk Hogan wrestle a match against Kurt Hennig at a TV taping, and they also gave jobs to young stars like AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, and even a young Carlito who was known as Carly Colon at this time. Wrestled for this promotion too. So I never even knew that was a thing or existed. So when I read that, I was like, we got to get some information on this.
With all that star power, though, it's no wonder they went out of business very quickly.
Yeah, how could they pay all those guys?
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
You're looking at you're looking to pay sort of the likes of Hulk Hogan even back then. What he would want for an appearance fee, you're looking at selling sort of 10,000 tickets anyway.
Yeah, and then you're looking because I think what they were trying to do is get a lot of guys that were WCW guys in there. But by the time 2022 came around, all those guys had pretty much signed with WWE. I mean, NWO had came to WWE, and there wasn't anybody really left after that.
No, that's it.
So yeah, and I know Jimmy Hart probably has some money, but I don't think Jimmy Hart has that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? Especially not in 2002.
No, he's definitely not in a con sort of just throw as much money as I want away.
Right. He's not sitting on billions of dollars. You can't buy football teams and shit like that.
No.
So the show opens. We get a little recap of what happened last week with Austin and the Hart Foundation, the return of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, with him sending Austin crashing off the Raw stage and sending him to the hospital. Or he didn't go to the hospital. They'll show us later on because he refused medical attention because he's so tough. I would call that stupid, but
yeah.
But anywho, so the first thing that happens here is the Hart Foundation is going to make their way down to the ring. Brett's still in the wheelchair. Brett starts talking, but a really hot crowd here. They were getting a good big USA chant from the cheese heads here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I know a lot of digs at Wisconsin. I'm just saying.
Yeah. He offers thanks to Owen for winning the IC title and dedicating the win to Brett, and then thanks to Pillman for leading them all in prayer.
The one that made me laugh is he he thanked the British Bulldog for laying waste to the Undertaker, which like that match was 30 seconds long and it featured just the Undertaker choke slamming the fuck out of him. So no, he didn't. So that made me laugh because he's a heel. He's supposed to say shit like that. So I thought it was funny. And he also thanks Jim the Anvil Neidhart for saving his life. Because if not, Austin would have thrown him off that stage with his wheelchair on top of him. He doesn't think that Stone Cold Steve Austin will be here tonight. And he also says if he... I'm sorry, go ahead.
He forgets that he was actually standing up and beating Owens with a crutch.
Yeah, I think he did forget that part. And then he said he doesn't think Austin's going to be here tonight because Austin doesn't have the jam. The fuck does that mean? What's the jam?
Well,
is it Canadian
sort of
jam?
a strawberry preserve, isn't it?
Yes, Glenn. Literally, that's what it is. But I don't know what kind of jam he's referring to. Well, I gotta ask you then, Glenn. What's your favorite kind of jam?
Oh, seedless strawberry, definitely.
Glenn, yes, me too. I love the seedless strawberry. That's the good shit right there.
I don't understand why people want bits in it.
Yeah, that's like why I was kind of iffy on strawberry jelly forever. But then Rich was like, "Oh no, they have seedless." I was like, "Oh, seedless? Sign me up! Delicious. That's the best stuff. Absolutely."
Yeah.
So yeah, basically Bret Hart running down the fans or whatever. He why every week I feel like Bret Hart's like, you U.S. fans hate me, don't you? It's pretty clear that we hate you. Stop asking us.
Yeah, so something he has in common with you here, though, that he hates those fans specifically at that time.
That's true. I hate all those fucking Packers fans too. Every one of them. So I'm with Bret Hart on this one. And then, the Hart's got all the gold. They've got the tag team gold, the European gold, and hell, Anvil's even got gold teeth, he says, which I thought was funny. And then he's like, "Oh, the fans need me to destroy someone else, another one of their American heroes. How about we take down the boy toy?" So they leave the ring, and they are going to go searching through this massive, huge 5,000-seat arena and try to find Shawn Michaels every nook and cranny of the arena.
Yeah, the one place they didn't look was probably where they'd find him at this point. A certain, well, I can't call her a young lady, a certain old slapper's dressing room was probably where he could be found at that point.
They should have been looking for her first. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point. That's where he would have been. Then we also tell us that Stone Cold's supposed to be taking on the British Bulldog tonight, but we're not sure if Austin is going to be here. So they go back. This is going to happen a lot. They go to a commercial break. We come back. The Hart Foundation are searching the bowels of the arena for Shawn Michaels.
Again, two possibilities that they didn't check. One, the toilet, because they're always finding people lurking in toilets, in bathrooms. And the other one, of course, Sonny's dressing room. They're the two options, and yet they've searched every other inch of the building.
Yeah, their first look was, it looked like the basement of the building. I'm not really sure what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was
something. What are they going to find down there is Mankind.
Yeah, right. I was surprised Mankind wasn't down there. That would have been something if Mankind was just rocking back and forth in there. That would have been cool. Uncle Paul! That would have been really good. They should have done that. And then, Glenn, we get Ahmed Johnson, and he can only be taking on who, Glenn? But our old pal.
Rockabilly.
Oh, yeah!
Rockabilly all night long. Rockabilly, sing my song tonight.
It's Rockabilly, Glenn. Absolutely, it's Rockabilly.
What is Ahmed Johnson wearing?
Maybe they lost his bag at the airport or something.
It looks like he's got pajama trousers on.
It absolutely looked like, because I said the same thing. Like, new look for Ahmed Johnson. No red trunks, no 15 knee pads. They must have lost his bag at the airport. They lost all of his knee pads and his red trunks.
Yeah.
Poor Ahmed Johnson. I guess nobody has told Billy Gunn that he can't dance yet because he's still trying to. Johnson starts beating the shit out of Rockabilly before he can even get his jacket off. Actually, it takes a while for him to get his jacket off.
Well, he'd obviously become a music critic, Ahmed, because he didn't even give Billy a chance to play the guitar, which is a godsend.
Yeah, thank God for that. And he didn't let him dance too much either, which was nice.
Yeah.
We of course get a side-by-side interview with Farouk. And I guess as a preview to the big match coming up as a pay-per-view in your house, Cold Day in Hell, which will be our next show that we review. Crush is going to take on 3 guys later tonight because, as you know, Ahmed Johnson's going to have to face all 3 members of the Nation of Domination. So Crush is going to show us how tough he is by crushing 3 other competitors. Glenn, are you excited about that?
The biggest and baddest ghetto men is what he called them.
Wow. Ghetto men. We're going to talk about those guys later, but they didn't look ghetto.
I was going to say. Yeah, we'll save that for later.
Yeah, definitely not. So Billy locks in a sleeper hold, but he lets go before he can even get the win. Why? Because he's a dummy. Honky Tonk Man tries to give the guitar while distracting the referee, but Ahmed Johnson gets it instead and whacks Billy over the head with it, but the referee does see it. So Rockabilly does get a win here by DQ.
Another wonderful Vince Russo written DQ match.
Bro, I feel like every match that Ahmed Johnson is involved in ends in a DQ of some sort. Everyone.
It does, because normally here at the whole of the nation coming out to the ring.
Yeah, so I was like trying to figure out how many weeks we were until we were going to record the King of the Ring review because I was going to see if I could get a guest for that. And I was like looking through the Raws just so I could count their weeks. And I saw that one of the Raws 3 weeks from now, we are still going to be living Ahmed Johnson versus Farouk. And I wanted to cry.
No.
So I want it to end. So they show us more of the Harts looking for HBK. They go into a locker room where it's just a bunch of jobbers and Bob Holly. No Shawn Michaels.
No. And then why is it that they're trying to make somebody they're calling the world's most dangerous man the world's biggest wuss? We don't want to know that he coaches Little League or had daddy issues or any of the other things that they mentioned in this bloody segment. We want to know that he can rip people's limbs off and kill them.
It's really all we need to know about Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, the thing with Brock Lesnar is that people, even when he's working on the farm, imagine him tossing around bales of hay manually. He doesn't need a tractor,
right,
or a harvester. He does it all by hand. But this, you're not doing anything to sell me Ken Shamrock as the world's most dangerous man.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it really did any favors either. The funny thing was before they showed this, they show the Harts again after they come back from a commercial break. They're searching for HBK. They still can't find him. How big is this fucking building? Can't be that big.
No.
And they didn't check the bathroom this time, though, so I guess I'll give him that.
Yeah. I suppose it never occurred to him that he might not be there yet.
Yeah, like maybe he just ain't at the building yet, but they weren't smart enough to think of that. Yeah, and so I was surprised that they actually kept talking about this Mike Tyson Ken Shamrock thing because I figured they would drop it after 1 week, but they still harped on it more. This thing too, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, it is a strange thing.
It definitely is. I will say the thought of Vader and Ken Shamrock having a no hold barred sort of shoot fight sort of thing does sound like it's going to be a lot of fun.
You can't just call him Vader anymore. He's now the man they call Vader. I don't know what everybody else calls him.
But they call him Vader. We don't know who they is, but
Plus, it's those Chinese that arrested him.
It could be, yeah, maybe that is. Maybe they call him Leon White in jail, but they call him Vader. So the next match is Vader versus Goldust. So Vader comes down to the ring, and then Ken Shamrock comes down to join the commentary team. And I thought they were gonna send like a jobber or like Bob Holly or somebody like that out here to be him for him to beat the shit out of, and it's fucking Goldust. I'm like, why is it Goldust?
And to be fair, this was in the concept of that whole bloody show. This wasn't a bad match.
It wasn't. I just didn't understand the placement of it because you got Vader basically. I mean, Goldust got some moves in, but Vader basically beat him down. And then
Yeah.
right after this, they're going to show us this whole Goldust and Marlena exclusive interview. So, like, you didn't really build him up for me to get excited about this interview. He just got his fucking ass whooped.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. I did not get why it was Goldust. It should have been somebody, I don't know, one of the headbangers or both of the headbangers. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been a squash match, really. I don't know. Perhaps it was just that they were contracted to have Goldust appear on that show for some reason.
I didn't get it. But yeah, Vader wins. They also told us during this match that the WWF Championship is missing. It is missing from the Undertaker's locker room, which I thought the Undertaker just laid in a casket until he had to walk to the ring. What do you mean locker room?
Yeah. The thing is sorry, can we just go back to the man they call Vader and Goldust? Dustin Rhodes, and Vader in WCW had a couple of real barn burners of matches. So you can't tell me they couldn't save this somewhere down the line for a pay-per-view and let them have a really good match.
Yeah, so I know they kind of have a little feud at the beginning of 1998, but that's when Goldust is doing a whole bunch of weird shit with Luna. But yeah, the whole thing just didn't make any sense to me. I just didn't get it.
Especially, as you say, with the sit-down interview with Dustin Rhodes and Terry, talk about break kayfabe.
Yeah. So after the match, there was some shenanigans after Vader won. The Shamrock gets in there. They start fighting a little bit, and then Mankind comes out of nowhere. He starts beating on Shamrock too, and then Goldust gets involved, and they kind of fight those guys off. Did you know that Ken Shamrock hates Vader? Did you know that?
No, I didn't until now.
He said it a lot. He hates Vader. I don't know if Bret Hart hates the Wisconsin fans more or if Ken Shamrock hates Vader more, but they hate them.
Yeah, what Vader ever done to him? With that much hate?
He doesn't like bullies, and Vader's a bully, he said.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so then we get into this whole sit-down interview, not with Goldust and Marlena, but with Dustin and Terry. They run down the problems with his family problems. I just don't think that this helped them. I just like you brought me Goldust and showed me Goldust. If you wanted him to be Dustin Rhodes, he should have been fucking Dustin Rhodes from the beginning. So I just didn't think this helped at all.
No, certainly did. Now finding out that Scott Hall's homophobic wasn't exactly a good thing.
Yeah, and like at first they kind of like when JR said it, he said a certain machismo superstar wouldn't work with him, but then they did just straight up just drop the name and say Scott Hall. But he also did say that Scott Hall wasn't the only one who refused to work with him, and I heard the same thing on a Bruce Pritchard podcast that Scott Hall wasn't the only one that wasn't uncomfortable working with him.
Surprise, surprise. A very macho, I can't even say the word, misogynistic, that's it.
Yep.
Locker room is homophobic too.
And especially like I'm not like condoning anything or making anything okay, but it was in 1997 was a different world than it is now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, sort of. I mean, like sometimes I feel like we're about to flip back to the way we were in 1997. Sometimes the way shit goes, but like it wasn't as easy to be openly gay in 1997 as it is now.
No.
And so I think a lot of people had different views of it, and I'm not saying that that's okay, but that's just the way it was. And then they get into the whole thing with him and his dad. He hasn't talked to his dad in 2 years, and he hopes that his dad is proud of him. And guess what, Glenn? We're going to get to see part 2 next week.
Yeah. Just more filler.
Yeah. And also, I don't like it didn't get him over as like a sympathetic babyface to me. It just sounded like wham, my daddy doesn't like me. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's cold-hearted on my part, but that's just what it felt like.
No, you're right. There was no. It was a waste of time. I don't know what they were trying to achieve from it. It's done gold. They didn't do Dustin Rhodes any good, and it certainly didn't do the character of Goldust any good. So it's not served any real purpose at all.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't understand it at all. I mean, maybe there'll be like a further storyline that we needed to know the backstory about his family that I don't know about yet, but like as of right now, I didn't see the point of it. It was as useless as the Ken Shamrock video. Yeah, and then they show us the Harts waiting outside the bathroom. They start beating up a long-haired man, but it's not HBK, so they just keep beating him anyway.
As they do. They just go around attacking people in bathrooms.
Yeah. It's always funny where like you'll see like sometimes wrestlers or people will like get the cops because they say a wrestler has assaulted them and that'll be part of the storyline. But when they beat up a random guy in the bathroom, nothing ever happens.
Happens.
You would think that would be the time to call the police.
Yeah.
They also showed us another one of these weird like attitude type videos where some kid goes from being a nerd to becoming a ladies' man because he starts dressing and acting like Shawn Michaels at school. Which I was in school in 1997. If I had went in there with, my nipples and navel showing, spinning around, taking my clothes off, I would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you would have got a whack round the back of the head to start with.
Exactly. So I don't know how little Jimmy would have been helped at school for that because he would have been suspended. All right, Glenn. So the nation's coming out now, and Crush is going to take on his three. What did he call them?
The three ghetto men.
The ghettoest men of all time. They look like male strippers to me, especially with their outfits.
Well, the first one was to be fair, this first one would not look out of place doing a squash job for somebody on Superstars.
That's a fact. He should have been facing brother Crush with a mullet, brother.
Nothing screamed ghetto about him at all. He was a pasty white thin white. He was a pasty thin white dude.
He looked like he was from Greenwich, Connecticut.
He did.
Yep. He drove his daddy's BMW here. He is not from the ghetto.
No. Probably wouldn't even know where the ghetto is.
No, if you try to, and he doesn't want to go either.
No.
Yeah, and then so he basically beats up the two jobbers pretty quickly. They send the third guy out. The third guy's got, black sweatpants on, like Ahmed Johnson did, and also a hideously ugly, terrible fucking Green Bay Packers coat. God, that thing was ugly. And a mask. Glenn, who was that masked man?
I wasn't sure for a long while. And then it turned out that he was no other than Ahmed Johnson.
That's right. He hits the Pearl River plunge, old Crush gets the 1, 2, 3, and there you have it. The thing I didn't understand is the Nation of Domination have approximately 50 members around the ring. Why didn't they get in there and whoop his ass?
Yeah, they've done it every other time.
Yeah, I didn't
This
get
is
it.
This is the first time he's attacked anybody from the Nation without a 2x4, and they did nothing.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. They got 50 fucking guys. Get in there and whoop his ass. What are you doing? I thought you didn't like him. I don't understand. But yeah, that was something that happened. We then see the Harts, and this time, Glenn, they're checking the parking lot.
Yeah, they're checking under the production trucks just in case Shawn's hiding under there.
because that's what Shawn Michaels does usually. He comes to the arena and just gets under one of the production trucks.
Production trucks, yeah.
Why wouldn't he? And they got check those barrels over there. Yeah, he threw himself in the dumpster. Come on. This is just so stupid. I don't like why. Like you could have just said they were gonna look for him and not showed us all this because it would be less stupid if you didn't show us all this shit.
Exactly.
Because then, Glenn, who comes down to the fucking ring but Shawn fucking Michaels, and they can't find him.
But that was after the break. We actually get the credits rolling, which is a good thing. But unfortunately, it's only to signal that it's the end of the first hour. And then you get all the usual re-theme coming back into the second hour. And as you say, Shawn Michaels is there. He managed to sneak in the building and avoid every little nook and cranny that the Harts have been looking in.
He was in the only room they didn't check, I guess.
Yeah.
They didn't look in Gorilla. He was in Gorilla. They didn't look there.
They didn't look there, no.
He was sitting next to Bruce Pritchard. I guess they must have overlooked that fucking spot or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got an interview from HBK, and so let's hear a little bit of it. What do you say?
Yeah.
Seems to be the in thing to do to sit there and cut down the fans and tell the fans how much you don't like them and how much you don't want them. That seems to be the trend that's going on right now. Thing is, I don't follow trends, I start them. So I think I'll be the guy that's going to start coming out here and sucking up to the fans of the World Wrestling Federation, because somebody's got to do it. And if the Hart Foundation wanted me bad enough, they'd be here right now. Now, Hart Foundation, I want you to understand something. You might run in a pack, but the clique runs in a herd. There is no more powerful faction in this business than the clique. Believe me when I tell you.
When is Shawn Michaels going to get back in the ring? When is Shawn Michaels going to put on the tights? When is Shawn Michaels going to wrestle for the clique again?
Well, that seems to be the million-dollar question. As everybody can see, I seem to be moving around pretty well. So I think that it is time for the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, to return to action, and it will happen at the King of the Ring in 1 month's time.
So there you have it, Glenn. The return of Shawn Michaels will be at the King of the Ring pay-per-view, so that'll be something.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that where Shawn's WCW friends are telling everybody that there's no way that Shawn is going to job to Brett. It's all about foreshadowing for
Yeah.
Shawn's friends in WCW.
I thought this was definitely like a subliminal message that he puts in there, because
Yeah.
he calls his fans the clique, but when he says the clique is the most powerful faction in the wrestling world, me and you know what he means. He don't mean it him and his fans. He means him and his friends, because we're running it over here and they're running it over there. So that's exactly what he meant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it looks like Shawn Michaels is going to leave, but then Bret Hart shows up on the big screen. They've been looking for Shawn Michaels everywhere. Here he is in the ring. Are we going to come down and fight him? No, we're going to talk to him on the fucking big screen.
Find a camera. Find a camera just so get me face on a big screen after such. Must have been knackered pushing him around that arena.
Yeah, and you have completely taken the complete piss out of your heels, because you made them look fucking stupid. You made them look really fucking stupid. They're in the parking lot searching under trucks. This motherfucker's in the ring.
Yeah.
So all of that was dumb. I didn't understand any of that. It didn't make any sense. The whole storyline running through the show was stupid.
And he mentions this thing about that he hasn't got the jam again. It's a thing that everyone's going, what's he on about?
I've never heard anybody say, you'd like to do it, but you don't got the jam. No one's ever said that. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't know.
Yeah, the only person that's ever said that is Bret Hart.
Yeah. Brett basically tells Shawn his knee looks fine, and if he's got the jam, I'll put some cherry jam, because I don't like that stuff. He'll take on Jim Neidhart right here tonight. Shawn Michaels pretty much agrees, so Jim comes down to the ring. But of course, it's just a setup, as Owen and Bulldog both hit the ring too. But luckily, LOD is here to save their good friend Shawn Michaels. Right.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Again, there's no explanation to it. All that bloody nonsense with Goldust, they could have been telling the story that the LOD are after that Davey and Owen.
Yeah.
Or something. You know,
right.
Give them a reason to come down and help Shawn Michaels out. Like, yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. But
Don't just in the air.
It was almost like, what the fuck is LOD doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like shocked. Like, why are they here? So yeah, then they go to a commercial break. They come back, and the tables have turned now, because Shawn Michaels is stalking the backstage area looking for the Harts.
Yeah. Again, they can't be that far to find.
Right, like You were just with him. You should have just followed him up the ramp. That would have been. All right. Then we get a match between it's Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon taking on LOD. We got another beautiful, wonderful promo from Furnas and LaFon.
They're trying to get over his heels, but it just don't work.
Okay, well, I thought the promo was terrible. And I don't know. I guess they were like, "Oh, these cheeseheads heads will be on their side because we're boring and they like boring." So I think that's why they thought they might be on their side.
Yeah,
I will say their heel work in the ring made them a little bit more interesting to me than they were before.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
yeah. What did you think of this Road Warriors new gear?
It was strange because I'm not used to seeing them with like straps, and I don't know. It was just weird. I didn't think it fit them. It was like a strange look for the like. Oh, we have these badass guys, but we got to wear these weird straps to our britches. It was just weird.
It was as though somebody had gone, "Well, you're not quite as well defined as you have been. Let's strap you in a bit."
God damn it, pal! Your pecs aren't looking so good. Let's strap you in a little bit. That'll make you look nice.
Get some straps in there. Pull it in tight.
Put it in there nice and tight. They look like overalls. I love the overalls, pal. The thing that made me laugh the most is LOD starts to come out to the ring and says, Vince McMahon, they're good friends of Shawn Michaels. I doubt they are. I bet they like him.
Again, nobody's ever told that story.
Yeah. I guess it's true. Maybe them and Shawn Michaels are good friends. I just couldn't see them hanging out with Shawn Michaels. It doesn't seem like that would happen. You know what I mean? Did you see the "Where's Slick" sign in the crowd?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, Furnas and LaFon were working heel, and this one I thought they were a bit more interesting. They let us know during this match that Stone Cold Steve Austin still isn't in the building, and the WWF Championship belt is still missing. They also take us to the back another time, and Brent Hart the Harts and Shawn Michaels are fighting with each other in the back, but there's many referees and Pat Patterson in there to break them apart here. Yeah, so I thought this was a decent tag team match. How about you?
Yeah, it was all right, but it just Furnas and LaFon get the win. So what they do, they have the LOD are going to be fighting for the titles in the cold day in hell.
I don't think that match is taking place as a pay-per-view. I don't think. Because Owen Hart and the Bulldog get involved in this. It looks like Hawk's going to take control after he gets a hot tag, but Bulldog makes his way down the ramp. He kind of distracts the referee and distracts Animal. And then Owen comes from the crowd and he kind of like takes Animal's like neck and breaks it across the top rope. And then LaFon gets the pin right after that, which I thought it would take a little more than that to take out a Road Warrior. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but he didn't sell it anyway.
No, because he got right back up. Yeah.
So that was a waste of time.
Yeah, another waste of time. I mean, Furnas LaFon did get a win, which we haven't seen many of that happen. So, and like, are they going to join the Hart Foundation? Are they with the Hart Foundation? It was kind of like a question mark at the end of that. You know what I mean? But then after the match, Shawn Michaels is back fighting with Night-Hearted Pillman. And just as that's happening, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes in the back door, runs the Harts off, and we hear the Undertaker's music playing in the arena.
Yes. Who the hell would steal the Undertaker's bloody title?
Who would steal anything from the Undertaker?
Exactly. Why would you want to go anywhere near him?
Yeah. It wouldn't be me. Yeah, so Undertaker comes out here for a little promo. Let's hear from the dead man.
I am the defender of the belt. The belt that belongs to the creatures of the night. The belt someone has decided to take upon themselves to steal. Will understand this, Mr. Soon to be dearly departed. You may have the belt, but you are no champion. What you're doing is playing a deadly game. A game for which you cannot win. My fight with Stone Cold Steve Austin, my patience is wearing thin. You've chosen a bad time to cross into the valley of the dead. So rest assured, before this fateful night is over, the wretched soul who took the belt of the creatures will pay and pay dearly.
Very ominous from them.
Oh,
Maybe we get.
I would not want to be that person.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know why you would. Why would you steal anything from the creatures of the night, Glenn? I wouldn't.
No. Be a wretched soul.
You wretched soul. Yeah, it's. Well, I guess we're gonna get to it, but nothing happened to anybody's wretched soul. Anyway, we get that commercial with the kid acting like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that all those attitude commercials. That's the best one. They should probably just keep showing that one.
Yeah.
And then Glenn, they showed some hussy selling Austin 316 shirts, and I don't have anything good to say about her, so I'm not gonna say anything at all.
No. Mrs. Nails.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they show us footage last week of them trying to put Steve Austin in the ambulance, but him refusing to go to the hospital. And then we get to the main event. It's the British Bulldog taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin. It takes the Bulldog forever to come out to the ring.
Well, yeah. Understandable, really. 'Cause what could possibly go wrong in this match?
Also, he's probably, so far in the back still searching for Shawn Michaels that it took him a lot to get to the front of the ring.
They had to get a jack out and jack up the production truck to get him out from underneath it.
Yeah, he was stuck. He was stuck under there.
But this is the thing, right? You got Austin, you're pissed off. You definitely got The Undertaker pissed off. And you got Shawn Michaels pissed off.
And the Legion of Doom.
And the Legion of Doom. So why would you actually go and take a match with Austin at this point?
Yeah, I would have just left.
Yeah.
Got my car and got out of there. I would have said, fuck this, because I would have been the British Bulldog, so I would have said fuck instead of fuck.
Yeah, because the thing is, they spent all that time looking for him. They couldn't find him. Now he's in the middle of the ring. Well, why have a match? Either all go down there and beat the shit out of him, or all go home.
Right.
There's no point in this at all.
Like, it would have made sense, like, if Bulldog had went out there, and then Austin starts coming out, and then they just attack him from behind. Because, I mean, why would they wait to whoop his ass when that's what they've been trying to do the whole night? Like, why would they sit around and wait?
Yeah, that's... we end up having a wrestling match.
Yeah, this was, I mean, that's not saying much, but this was a really good match, and probably the best match on the show.
Yeah. But it shouldn't have been. If you see what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
Good, but it shouldn't have been a match.
It was a way slower paced match than what you thought it would have been, too, because they were doing like rest holds and shit. And like, this is like a blood feud, right? Like, y'all tried to end me. I want to kill you. Let me put you in an arm bar. Like, no.
Yeah. Let's put you in a headlock and then follow that up by a chin lock.
Right. No.
Wonderful way of trying to kill your opponent.
Yeah, way to exact your revenge. Also in this match, like, the referee's looking right at these guys, and Bulldog just hauls off and kicks Austin right in the balls. And the referee didn't say a damn thing. He just went, "Oh well, I guess that's what happens."
Yeah. There's you get the two things, the two moves that Stone Cold is well known for at this time. One is the stunner, of course, and the other one is the Fez press.
Yep.
You know, if he's done that, he's going to stomp a hole in somebody. He tries a sharpshooter on possibly somebody that's got thighs twice the size of Austin's chest. So he gets kicked out of that quickly enough, and then Bulldog, really pissed off at Owens, goes and gets him in another chin lock. Why? They should make the bloody chin lock a banned move in wrestling. We'll start a campaign. I'm going to ban chin locks from wrestling.
Hashtag ban chin locks. Gonna be somebody out there, some chin lock advocate that's gonna tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah, bring it on. Come at me. I don't care.
Here, Conranas, I want a goddamn chin lock.
At GA WrestleNet, you know where to find me. If you've got something to say about chin locks, come at me.
I hope Dan Reed is like an advocate of chin locks. That'd be really fun for you two.
Oh,
Eventually, Austin.
I'll tell you what, Dan, if you're listening and you're an advocate of a chin lock, which I know you're not, we'll have you on here and we'll debate the subject.
And even if you're not, Dan, just say you are. Let's just pretend.
Yeah.
Let's just pretend. So finally, Austin does hit a Stone Cold Stunner and get the win over the Bulldog here. And he got the 3 count, but as soon as he gets the 3 count, Owen Hart and Bulldog and Jim Neidhart hit the ring. They start beating down Austin, and then we do see who has the belt. It's Owen Hart. Owen Hart's got the WWF Championship belt, which they were probably looking for Shawn Michaels, and they just found it. So they were like, "Oh, we'll just keep this then."
Yeah.
It shows the whole arena.
I'd like to ask the Undertaker what he's doing, leaving his property just laying around that the Harts can get their hands on it.
Yeah, for anybody, especially it's a very prestigious belt. I don't even heard his promo, but he said belt a bunch of times, so he loves that belt. So I don't know why he wouldn't keep it in his good graces.
The last time we heard that many belts was from Bret Hart himself.
Absolutely, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and so they're beating down Austin, but then LOD hits the ring to fight off the Harts. But then Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon run into the ring, and they start beating on LOD. Then Shawn Michaels hits the ring, and so it's just a big, huge brawl. Then finally, the Undertaker music comes on, the lights go out, and the lights come back on. The Undertaker's in the ring, and he clears the ring of the Hart Foundation. He doesn't do anything to Owen Hart's wretched soul for stealing his belt, though, which I couldn't help but notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he got it back without actually causing much damage, so.
Yeah, so he sees Austin with it, and Undertaker kind of snatches it away from him, and they really start brawling in and outside of the ring. Officials trying to separate the two, and that's kind of really how the show goes off the air with those two just fighting. So they did a good job, I think, of the very end of this show about getting you to care about that championship match that's going to main event the pay-per-view. Yeah, so next week, that's what we're going to do, Glenn, and I'm going to here's the card, Glenn. These are going to be a bunch of matches. Only, 3 matches have anything set up for them, and there's other matches that I don't even understand why they had. So they have Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who is at this current time in the midst of a huge blood feud with Goldust. So naturally, he's going to face Flash Funk at the pay-per-view. And Mankind, who has had a huge just blood feud with this guy, he's going to take on Rocky Maivia. I don't know why. But then we got Ahmed Johnson in a gauntlet match versus all the members of the nation. Ken Shamrock versus Vader in a no-holds-barred, no DQ match that can only be won by submission or knockout. And Stone Cold Steve Austin will get his first ever one-on-one WWF Championship match on pay-per-view when he made events against The Undertaker. So that'll be next week. The good news is, Glenn, Rockabilly and Double J do have another match on that fucking show. But good news, Glenn, it's on the free-for-all, so we won't have to watch it.
Yay! I hope somebody not bothered to tell Leon that this is a work. So I'd love to see him shooting on Ken Shamrock. It will make that pay-per-view worthwhile.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking at that one and the Austin Undertaker match. There's like a story built within that match that makes that match really exciting to watch. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is one of those pay-per-views that I remember watching and I remember enjoying. So it's going to be fun to go back and relive it. But Glenn, who do we need to plug before we get out of here?
Oh, UTT Mob, Rob and Danny. Andy contacted me. He's just finishing up with what he needs to do with his shoot job, and he'll be back soon with the Bang Bang podcast and DC and Doc with DDT Wrestling, and of course, if you're a sci-fi fan, the Doctor Who podcast with Danny and Cy. They're back up and running again after a couple of weeks where they've had issues.
Well, that's good to hear. The most impressive thing about that, Glenn, is Glenn doesn't even need his cheat sheet anymore. He knows them all by heart. How do you like that? How do you like that? Well, yeah, make sure you check out Sports Wire Radio. Give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on Twitter and on the Instagram. It's 2017 on Twitter and 2020 on Instagram. We have a TikTok now. We are on TikTok. I post a lot of clips of the show and videos of my wrestling figures. So if you're on TikTok, give us a follow.
Dancing.
No dancing. Well, I can't guarantee that. There may be some dancing. I'm not sure. Who knows what will happen. I can't guarantee there won't be dancing. There isn't dancing now, and I don't foresee there being any dancing, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, you might get a bit of singing from us, but you definitely won't get any dancing.
There'll absolutely be some singing. We sing on every show. So make sure you give our buddy, our other third member of our podcast team here, the Mayor of Canton, a follow on Twitter. It's at Mayor of Canton. He is back with a meal with the Mayor every Wednesday, so make sure you check that out. Psycho Sid, the new Psycho Sid, the I Don't Know Shit, the Life and Times of Psycho Sid will be coming your way very soon. As a matter of fact, let me open my calendar here and I will tell you the exact date. It will be Friday, September the 1st. We will have the very first episode of I Don't Know Shit, the Life and Times of Psycho Sid coming out. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, should be interesting. Anything else from you, Glenn?
It should be very interesting because I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing homework on yet.
For the first few matches, there is no homework.
Oh, excellent. Okay, then.
It's just us watching some old Memphis wrestling and seeing what we got.
Excellent. That's the way I like it. That's even better.
Yeah, we won't start getting into the nut and bolts of things until he joins the Four Horsemen. So we'll have a few episodes before that happens.
And I'll remember that.
Yeah, I see. Like, I don't know any of the Sid before he got to WWF in like 1990. I know nothing about, so it's all going to be brand new for me.
See, I was up until 1990. I was very much a WCW guy rather than a WWF.
You got that more on TV over there, didn't you?
Yeah, we had it on free TV, so
that makes sense. Then makes sense. But yeah, that's it. That's all I believe. There's only one thing left to do, and that's for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.